Alright, so I have been trying my darndest to finish part 1 of my Dr. Seuss video, but when I was listening to the audio the other day, I found that it was actually pretty bad. I kept losing my voice while I was recording, and you can really tell. Now, I worked really hard on this recording, so finding out that it was not up to snuff really hit me hard. But I slept on it and decided to re-record parts of the audio, because even though my videos don't get that many views, I still want them to be the best quality I can muster, gosh darn it. But while I was getting ready this morning, I thought to myself, wait a minute, weren't there a bunch of Dr. Seuss facts that I discovered while doing research that I couldn't fit into my main video? Why not just do a short video about those? So here are my incredibly awesome and strange facts about Dr. Seuss that I couldn't fit into my main video. Number 1. School. The man who helped to reshape the way children learn to read surprisingly did not have that much of an affinity for school. I talk a little bit about Seuss's college days in my main video, but even during high school, Seuss would often skip class in favor of going to the movies. He was even voted least likely to succeed by his Dartmouth classmates during his final year there, but we all know how that turned out. Number 2. Seuss taxidermy. On top of being a children's book author, painter, and advertising man, Seuss also liked to dabble in taxidermy, and no, I don't mean that one of the world's most beloved children's authors liked to stuff dead animals. Instead, Seuss created and mounted animals of his own. While he was living in New York, Seuss sent a letter back to the zoo in his hometown of Springfield, Massachusetts, asking them to send him horns, shells, and whatever other animal parts they had lying around, which he combined with plaster, wood, and whatever, to create his own unique brand of imaginary taxidermy animals. Seuss himself liked to call this the Seuss system of an orthodox taxidermy. Try saying that 5 times fast. Eventually, Seuss realized that his creations were too good to keep cluttering up his den, and decided to try his hand at selling them. He put out an ad in Judge magazine, which read, "Extra Extra, Dr. Seuss returns from the Bobo Isles with rare and amazing trophies." Number 3. The 5,000 Fingers of Dr.T, also known as the movie that made Dr. Seuss want to quit Hollywood. I unfortunately did not write down that much information about this movie when I was doing my initial research, but what I do know is that Seuss helped to write the screenplay for a movie called The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, and that was probably one of the worst experiences of his life. During production, Seuss felt like he had no creative control, and ultimately the film flopped upon its initial release in 1953, though surprisingly it has a fairly decent score on Rotten Tomatoes. For those of you interested in the movie's plot, it's about a boy named Bart Collins who hates taking piano lessons and eventually grows suspicious of his piano teacher, Dr. Terwilliger. I actually haven't seen the movie myself, but if you're interested, I'm sure you could find a copy. The trailer is even available on YouTube. Number 4. Green Cat with Lights. Dr. Seuss was not the only pen name that Theodor Seuss Geisel was known to have used, as the name Strugel von M appears on his painting entitled Green Cat with Lights. This was not a pen name in the traditional sense, however, as Seuss would often use this painting to play a prank on the guests that would come to visit Seuss' house. When people would ask about the painting, he would say, "Oh, that's by Strugel von M. Haven't you heard of him?" This way, he could gauge people's opinions about his painting without them knowing that he was really the artist. It was also not uncommon for people to feign knowledge of the fake Strugel von M to avoid sounding ignorant. The name Strugel von M actually appears earlier on in another Seuss work, The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, as it was the name of one of the doctor's henchmen, and was also featured in Seuss's short-lived comic strip, Heiji. And that's all, folks. Sorry the list wasn't longer, but I just wanted to do something short and sweet while I worked on re-recording my main Dr. Seuss video. And honestly, I wanted to talk about a lot of these things in my main video, but I had to streamline the contents to make it shorter. If you like this strange list of Dr. Seuss facts, please remember to tune in to part 1 of my main Dr. Seuss video, which should hopefully be up within the next week or so. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.